Ready for the bombshell? Three moves are about to explode in the NFC East. And it all depends on an invisible rookie, a devilish linebacker with spin moves from hell, and a nuclear trade that nobody saw coming. Think Adam Peters gambled too. Much? Wait. Because this undrafted player threatens to send a veteran packing, a legend is devouring our pass rush. And Jaden Daniels' future hinges on a single man. Subscribe now or risk being the last to know how the Commanders are quietly building a dynasty. Are you going to miss what's coming? Let's start with something that's completely intriguing and might be the biggest surprise of the training camp. Have you noticed how each year there's a player that nobody sees coming? That guy who arrives as an undrafted free agent and suddenly is making noise on the roster, earning the respect of coaches and veterans. Well, I've got news for you because Kurlin Viggers could be exactly that for us. Who the heck is Kurlin Viggers? Exactly my point. This cornerback from Louisiana came, an undrafted, without fanfare, without expectations. But here's what's driving me completely crazy. And pay attention, because this is important. He got almost twice the money that Ventral Cypress 3 did in his rookie contract. And you know what that tells me? That Adam Peters, Mike McDonald, and that whole scouting staff saw something special in this guy. Something that the other 31 NFL organizations completely miss. When a GM like Peters, proven to have an eye for talent, gives you more money while being undrafted, it's because the scouts saw film that impressed them. But let's analyze the real situation in the quarterback position, because this is where it gets interesting. We have Mike St. Ristel, our second-round pick in 2024, who's already shown he can play at the NFL level. Marshon Lattimore, four-time Pro Bowler, we got mid-season last year in a trade that completely changed our secondary. Trey Amos, another second-round pick this year, proving once again Peters is betting strong on this position. And Jonathan Jones, a solid veteran who we brought in during free agency. Those four are absolute locks to make the roster. No discussion. There, but here's what's got my head spinning. Noah Igbinoghene, who started many games last year and was a significant part of our rotation, could be a cut candidate. Why? Because his role was significantly reduced with all these acquisitions. When we brought in Lattimore, Igbinoghene lost snaps. With Amos arriving as a rookie, his position is in jeopardy. And you know what that means? There's a real tangible opportunity for a wild card to grab that fifth cornerback spot. It could be 6 if they keep Igbinoghene, but I doubt they'll keep 6 cornerbacks on the final roster. Look at the names competing for those last spots. Kevin Seymour, low-cost veteran. Bobby Price, another veteran familiar with the system. Ventral Cypress 3, another undrafted rookie. And Kurlin Viggers. I'm telling you this, and listen up, in a position as competitive as cornerback. When an undrafted rookie is getting significantly more money than other prospects, it's because the scouts saw something the rest of the league completely miss. Film from Louisiana that made them think, this guy can play on Sundays. What did I see when I reviewed his college tape? A cornerback with natural instincts, good press coverage technique, and most importantly, he doesn't get intimidated against physical receivers. In Louisiana, he faced SEC-level competition, and that means something. If you can compete in the SEC, you can compete anywhere. But here's the million-dollar question. Could Viggers be the diamond in the rough we need to have? The best secondary in the NFC East? Because if this kid can contribute immediately, imagine having 5 cornerbacks who can rotate, play different schemes, and keep everyone fresh during a 17-game season. Depth is what separates playoff teams from championship teams. And if Viggers can be that extra piece that gives us versatility, Peters will have found gold in the mud once again. If you thought that was interesting, wait to hear this, because what's happening in our practices has me more excited than a kid on Christmas morning. A legend is shaping the future of our pass rush, and what's happening is going to completely change the way we attack rival quarterbacks. Ryan Kerrigan, folks. 95.5 sacks in 10 seasons with the burgundy and gold. The franchise's all-time sack leader, a guy who terrorized quarterbacks for a decade, is now on the coaching staff as a pass rush specialist. And guess who he's personally training one-on-one, technique after technique? Frankie Luvu. Here's what's driving me completely crazy. Luvu had 8 sacks last year as a linebacker. 8 sacks as a linebacker. That number is incredible for someone who isn't a designated pass rusher. But here's the detail blowing my mind. He's never reached double digits in a single season during his entire NFL career. And you know what Kerrigan is teaching him? The spin move. But not just any spin move. The perfected spin move by someone who dominated the position for a decade in this very organization. Look, I've watched Kerrigan wreak havoc on quarterbacks for 10 years. Saw how he used leverage, how he studied film, how he perfected every technical detail until it became an art. When a guy with that pedigree is teaching you footwork mechanics, the correct angles, how to use leverage against tackles who weigh 50 pounds more than you, that's no coincidence. That's intentional talent development. Scott Abraham from 7 News captured incredible video of Kerrigan working directly with Luvu in minicamp, illustrating exactly how to perfect that spin move. You can see Kerrigan explaining step-by-step how to take the correct angle, plant your feet, use the tackle's momentum against him. And you know why this is great for us? Because Luvu is 6'3", weighs 236, maybe not the largest on the field, but has natural agility, superior football IQ, and has demonstrated he can generate pressure from multiple positions. When you learn to use effective spin moves against tackles weighing 300-plus pounds, that's where perfect technique defeats brute size. But let's dig deeper into this. Kerrigan dominated from a 4-point stance, using a variety of swat and swim moves, dip and drip counters, creative hand usage. All that knowledge, all that elite-level experience is now directly transferring to Luvu. It's like having a personal tutorial from the best pass rusher in franchise history. I firmly believe Luvu is going to have his breakout season this year. And here's why. With Dante Fowler Jr. no longer on the roster after leading the team in sacks, we need consistent pressure from someone. Look at our current defensive line depth chart. Clelin Ferrell, solid veteran but better against the run than generating pressure. Jalen Holmes, same deal. Dietrich Wise Jr., new acquisition we brought in, but again, more effective against the run than pass. Dorrance Armstrong Jr. has potential and the athleticism to make that leap, but after several years in the league, still hasn't had that breakthrough season. But Luvu training directly with the franchise's all-time sack leader? That's burgundy and gold development, baby. Here's my theory, and tell me if I'm crazy. Do you think it's coincidence Peters didn't spend serious money on a high-profile edge rusher in free agency? Big names were available. Danielle Hunter, Calvin Ridley, other pass rushers who could have helped immediately. But Peters chose not to spend those resources. Why? Because he sees the same thing I'm seeing. Sees Luvu working with Kerrigan, sees the potential to unlock something special, sees the opportunity to develop internal talent instead of spending $15 to $20 million in free agency. If Luvu can become a 12-plus sack guy working with Kerrigan, that's infinitely better value than any free agent contract. Plus, Luvu already knows our system, has chemistry with the secondary, understands McDonald's schemes. Luvu's versatility is what makes him so valuable. He can blitz from inside gaps, run stunts, and twist outside, dropping coverage when necessary. But he can also put his hand in the dirt and win off the edge as a traditional pass rusher. That flexibility is exactly what modern defenses need. But here's what's really nuclear. What has the entire NFC East completely shook? What Peters did in this trade. This move that has me losing sleep from excitement. Can't believe what they did with this trade. The trade for Laramie Tunsil is officially the boldest, most aggressive, most championship-minded move in the entire NFC East this season. And I tell you this without any doubt. It's exactly the kind of move that separates serious organizations from those that play it safe. Let's break down exactly what happened here, because the numbers will blow your mind. Look at what we sent. To Houston for Tunsil, 2025 third-round pick, 2025 seventh-round pick, 2026 second round, and 2026 fourth round. Plus, we received their 2025 fourth round to sweeten the deal. Does it sound expensive? Of course it sounds expensive. Is it worth every pick we sent? Absolutely every stinking pick. You know why this move is genius? Because we have Jayden Daniels. When you've got a 24-year-old franchise quarterback who's already shown in his rookie season, he can handle pressure, make incredible plays, and lead game-winning drives, your job as a GM changes completely. You're no longer building. For the future, you're maximizing your window now. And what better way to maximize that window than by protecting your franchise? Quarterback with one of the absolute best left tackles in the NFL. But let's go deeper into what Tunsil brings to this offensive line, because this is where it gets exciting. This guy's been a Pro Bowler multiple times, has protected elite quarterbacks throughout his career, has faced the best pass rushers in the league, and consistently held his own. Tunsil's about to turn 31. Yes, but look at his recent numbers. In Houston, he was the anchor of that offensive line that helped develop C.J. Stroud into an Offensive Rookie of the Year season. He knows how to protect young quarterbacks, understands the nuances of pocket management, and has the experience handling elite pass rushers week after week. They owe him $21.35 million for each of the next 2 seasons. Is it serious money? Absolutely. Is it money well invested when you're protecting your franchise quarterback during his development years? No doubt about it. Here's the context that has me excited. Look at what the other teams in our division are doing. The Cowboys brought in George Pickens in a trade, gave up significant draft capital, but didn't extend him going into his final year. That's trouble waiting to happen, especially for a team already having problems getting extensions done timely. The Eagles are putting tremendous weight on Quinyon Mitchell to be the man at cornerback after departures. Mitchell was great as a rookie, but asking him to anchor an entire secondary is a big responsibility for a second-year player. The Giants spent a fortune on secondary with Paulson Adebo getting $18 million per season and Jevon Holland receiving $15.1 million annually. But here's the problem. Adebo missed significant time last season with a lower body injury and hasn't played a full season since his rookie year. Holland hasn't been at his best since the 2022 season. And us. We got the best available left tackle to protect our franchise quarterback during his prime development years. While other teams are making risky bets on injury-prone players or asking rookies to carry heavy loads, we made the safest, smartest, most logical move possible. Now I ask you this, and really think about it. How many times have we seen promising quarterbacks have their careers derailed because they didn't have adequate protection? R3 is the perfect example here in Washington. Incredible talent, incredible potential, but injuries and a lack of consistent protection change everything. Cannot allow the same thing to happen to Jayden. We can't afford to waste his talent because we were too cheap or too conservative to give him elite protection. I believe that when we look back at this trade in 2 years, it will be remembered as the moment when the Commanders officially became serious contenders. This is not building for 3 years from now. This is not hoping draft picks eventually develop. This is win-now mentality. You know what this tells me about Peters as a GM? That he understands timing. He understands windows. He understands that when you have a franchise quarterback on a rookie contract, every year is precious. Every season matters. You can't waste opportunities because you're worried about draft capital 5 years from now, with Jayden entering his second season with an improved secondary after the Lattimore trade. With a coaching staff that already knows the system and has established an identity, this is our window. This is our opportunity to compete at the highest level. While Jerry Jones keeps playing games with Micah Parsons' contract, allowing his price to keep rising every day, while the Eagles are hoping their draft class produces immediately without veteran insurance, while the Giants bet on players with concerning injury histories, we secured proven Elite protection for our most important asset. And you know what's the craziest thing about all this? That we're barely in July. Peters can still make moves before training camp. Draft capital restoration, veteran additions, camp competitions. That could change everything. You think this is all Peters has planned? You're completely crazy. This offseason has been about precision moves, calculated risks, and building around our strengths. Kurlin Viggers representing our ability to find hidden gems. Kerrigan developing Luvu, showing our commitment to internal growth. And the Tunsil trade demonstrating our willingness to go all in when we have a franchise quarterback. Will Kurlin Viggers be the wild card we need in cornerback depth? Will Frankie Luvu finally reach double-digit sacks working directly with Ryan Kerrigan? Was Peters' decision to trade so much draft capital for Laramie Tunsil the right one? I've got my answers clear, but I want to hear exactly what you think. In the comments, tell me which of these 3 news items excites you the most and explain why. Do you think Peters made the right call spending that draft capital on Tunsil? Or do you think he should have used those picks to build more depth across the roster? If you're as excited as I am about this season, like this video and subscribe to the channel because we're a family here, a community that lives and breathes the burgundy and gold, and I need you to stay with me because I guarantee tomorrow we'll have more explosive news you absolutely can't miss. And always remember, hail to the Redskins.